Hello, I'm Tony Ko from TalkIT, analyzing key insights from tech seminars with ChatGPT. As companies begin to actively adopt AI, one of their biggest challenges is connecting to accurate and reliable data, and this is exactly where graph databases are gaining attention. GraphDBs are particularly strong at representing and connecting relationships between pieces of knowledge, making them a key component in RAG-based generative AI projects and the advancement of enterprise knowledge management systems. In this episode, we'll explore why GraphDBs are drawing attention in the era of AI and how leading solutions like Neo4j differentiate themselves, together with Jungsoo, CEO of Infosys.
In March 2024, Gartner published a lengthy report stating that when it comes to truly understanding business context, the kind of deep understanding that drives successful business decisions, knowledge graphs are the only real answer. You're probably familiar with the hype cycle, right? If you take a look at the 2024 hype cycle, you'll see AI-ready data positioned here and knowledge graphs appearing just past the trough of disillusionment. That's why our company is focused on these two key areas, AI-ready data and knowledge graphs. To implement a knowledge-enabled AI architecture, machine learning is, of course, still essential, but it needs to be built on top of a knowledge graph. On top of that foundation, various AI platforms can be integrated, enabling functions like natural language processing, reasoning, search, and recommendation, making such an architecture truly possible. Now let me explain a bit more about what a knowledge graph is. When we talk about a knowledge graph, it helps to start by comparing it to the relational database structure, which most people are familiar with. In a traditional RDB, you define table spaces, and relationships between data are maintained through primary keys and foreign keys with queries performed using joins. That's the classic RDB approach. But in a graph database, the term graph doesn't refer to bar charts or line graphs. It comes from network science. A knowledge graph represents knowledge as a network of interconnected entities, where the relationships themselves are just as important as the data points. These interconnected networks are structured in a way that makes it easier to query and use them. And that's exactly what a graph database is designed to do. Graph databases are built around a structure of nodes and edges. So, in a graph structure made up of 3 nodes and 2 edges, like node, edge, node, edge, node, what's important is that each node can store properties, which are essentially attributes. For example, if a particular employee is an analyst working at a specific company, the employee node might include properties like name, birth date, employee ID, and so on, potentially an unlimited number of attributes. The company node can also store properties such as founding year, establishment date, reference info, CEO, and other relationship-related details. And then the edge might represent the location where the company is based, connecting the company node to a location node. This kind of structure, composed of nodes and edges, is what we call a graph database. Earlier, I mentioned properties, and when we talk about labeled property graphs, the most well-known example is Neo4j. There are many types of graph databases around the world, but Neo4j is considered the leading example of a property graph model. That's a helpful way to understand its core architecture.
As far as I know, Neo4j is a leading solution in the graph database space. What are its key advantages?
About 10 years ago, knowledge graphs briefly became a hot topic, but interest faded because ontologies were considered too difficult to create at the time. However, interest in ontologies and knowledge graphs has resurged recently, largely thanks to the rise of LLMs. As you asked, RDF-based graph types are quite limited in that they cannot store rich properties on nodes and edges. They do have the advantage of allowing many relationships to be created quickly, but when it comes to adding rich descriptive properties to nodes and edges, property graph models offer clear advantages. Even in a recent report by Forrester, despite the wide range of graph database solutions available globally, Neo4j is clearly positioned in the top right leader quadrant. There are roughly 3 key reasons why Neo4j remains so popular, and I'll go into those next. The first reason is that Neo4j has a vast number of use cases. Over the past 13 years, many major vendors have adopted Neo4j, leading to a wide variety of industry use cases. As a result, Neo4j has been internally optimized for performance to support these diverse applications. The second reason is that Neo4j offers well-developed libraries for data science. So, for many people working in data science, it's incredibly convenient to use these ready-to-use libraries that Neo4j provides, making implementation much easier.
The reason ours spread so quickly about 10 years ago was also because it had such well-developed libraries, right?
Exactly. And the third key feature is that Neo4j offers a range of well-integrated tools. One prominent example is Neo4j Bloom, which allows users to interact with graph models in a highly intuitive way, almost like using Excel. With Bloom, you can model your graph in Neo4j and instantly explore various results just by clicking without writing complex queries.
In the past, people used to say that as the data size grew, there were many limitations due to overhead.
However, based on our own experience using Neo4j extensively, even with billions or tens of billions of records, the results appear within just 1 to 2 seconds right inside Bloom. Thanks to these powerful tools, Neo4j continues to receive high praise for its performance and usability.
Is Neo4j open source?
There are 2 versions available, an open source version and an enterprise version. This is a common question. Neo4j also offers both on-premises and cloud-based deployment options.
Finally, let's take a look, together with ChatGPT, at how the name Neo4j was created. The name Neo4j for the graph database sounds quite unique. Do you know how it was created?
Neo4j definitely has a unique name, and its origin can be understood in 2 parts. Neo means new, reflecting the intention to create a new kind of database. 4j stands for Java, a common convention among Java developers. You might recognize it from names like log4j. So, Neo4j essentially means a new, Java-based graph database.
What are the advantages of using a Java-based platform?
The reason it's beneficial that Neo4j is Java-based is, first of all, because it runs on the JVM, which means it can be used on Windows, macOS, or Linux, truly cross-platform. It also integrates seamlessly with the Java ecosystem, making it easy to connect with frameworks like Spring. Plus, JVM's memory management and thread handling are highly reliable, which makes Neo4j trustworthy even when handling large-scale data. Another advantage is that Neo4j can be embedded directly into Java applications, so you can use graph database functionality without needing a separate server. To sum it up, being Java-based gives Neo4j flexibility across environments, tight integration with the Java ecosystem, and advantages in performance and stability.
Lastly, your likes and subscriptions greatly empower us to continue creating content. Thank you for your support.